The fourth industrial revolution has one big challenge. It is the holding out of the middle class, which is a pillar of our democracies.
Madam Secretary, Jim Cramer, the difficult and dangerous jobs issue is why Rotterdam, which is one of the top 10 ports in the world, went entirely unmanned. When I was out at a video this year, they showed me machines that would be unmanned that could handle any sort of what would have been otherwise a tragedy with humans. Where are we in terms of getting to where Rotterdam would be without laying off people, without hurting people who are currently working?
Yeah, I mean, that is part of a broader conversation around, what is the impact of automation? What do we want to see, right? Especially been highlighted because of, advancements in artificial intelligence. I think that is the right question, which is how do we make sure that as we look at technology and those kinds of improvements, how do we make sure that working people share, right? It's the same issue around the wages. As things improve, we want to make sure that workers' lives also improve. And this is why workers having a say is so important, when, how, whether technology is going to be implemented, and what the impact is going to be on real families. One of the signs that the longshoremen had on the picket line was machines don't have families. We care, and this president and this vice president care deeply, and the economic effects our record is clear on this, that when the economy does well, we care what happens to working families. And this is yet another example of how, profits and prosperity can be shared.
But the rise of automation in all sorts of areas and robotics, of which we're really just at the beginning, given the rise of generative AI. I mean, I know this is a long-term issue, and obviously we're coming off a very strong jobs number this morning, but I do wonder how as many jobs in 5 years or 10 years as we do now, given the rise of automation and the rise of robots, frankly, that don't even exist right now, but will certainly be doing many jobs in a number of years.
Yeah, I mean, I think several years, there's a conversation about this. And I think one of the realities is that in many countries, like you mentioned in the port in Rotterdam, in many countries, people aren't as afraid of what's going to happen with automation because there's so much attention to job security, right? We care about people, and that's something that this president has made very clear in his executive order around artificial intelligence, that we want, when we look at AI, to make sure that it is secure and responsible when it comes to workers too. We have seen, again, in this economy where jobs have grown, real wages have grown, inflation rates and interest rates are coming down, that we can build an economy where everybody gets a piece of it. Everybody gets to share in the American dream. That is fundamental to the economic policies that we have pursued. There are choices that are made all the time, including by corporations, many of whom do a great deal to benefit our economy. But having to say that, if I'm going to share the tens of billions of dollars in profit with workers means that I'm going to have to charge more for my products is not a choice. It's not the only choice. The other issue here is, monopolistic behavior, right? This is why we believe that we shouldn't have big corporate monopolies, because people should have a choice. Competition helps to ensure that prices also stay fair, and so that's why we're still committed to, battling inequality on all fronts.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher, and guys, I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And don't forget to like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come, but I put up 5. And we have more drama coming to crypto. We know the EU has regulation, and we have Coinbase to remove unapproved EU stablecoins. But we know who is approved, guys. That's USDC, the chosen one. Now we have all the media outlets stating that Tether is going to be removed. And we have to look and see if that's just to cause more volatility, because they can easily get approved by the end of this year. So guys, what do? Get the popcorn, sit back, and let it play out. They have until the end of December. Now we have Klaus and Biden on the 4th Industrial Revolution. And Klaus states one of the goals is hollowing out the middle class. And we clearly know it's coming. And how do they try to sell the machine takeover? The machines are taking over the difficult and dangerous jobs. And we know workers do not have a say when it comes to corporations. The only thing you have to do is study John Rockefeller. Understand the history of the unions and the battles. A lot of people are so used to struggling, they think that's the normal. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And I can't believe she brought up the word monopoly. That's all we have in the United States is monopolies. We have an illusion of choice. $1 trillion companies, and people wonder why we're in the state that we're in now. It's the people. When the people wake up and rise, then you won't have that problem. But if you continue to act like a sheep, we see the corporations just keep getting bigger and bigger. And the crazy part about it, it really only got a good start until the late 70s, early 80s. Do your homework on BlackRock. But we know the NWO caused the problem, wait for the action, and run in with the solution. And we know the people are going to do what? Run to the government. And what is the government going to have? That free money, that programmable money. But guess what? If you allow the government to feed you, they're definitely going to starve you. And we know the goal of the metaverse. If they can download you, they can delete you. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, the technology is there, people. Now, with all the geopolitical events, guys, these next 3 months are going to be very volatile. And we had Fed Jerome Powell stating that they're going to be in a rate-cutting cycle to get us back to neutral. But don't forget, guys, we have the drums are beaten. And then we also have government that has to cut this deficit. So we know over these next 3 years, the movies are just going to keep getting better and better. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Yes, I mean, I think we're in a tricky period because there are these sort of complications, which is geopolitical risk. We've got the port strike out of the way, and I know October has these seasonals. I think it's very good news to see the stock market react positively to a jobs report, because it is, in fact, a good report showing the economy is actually not only holding up, but the unemployment rate's down. But I agree with you. The VIX is important to tell us how much we could rally. I know our head of technical strategy, Mark Newton, thinks that we're making intraday lows today, and it's setting up for us to make new highs next week. I mean, to me, that makes sense just because it has been a resilient economy, and then next week we get CPI. But I do think it's hard to say this is a green light into year end because, as you're pointing out, the VIX is just staying stubbornly high.
There is a real question. How much have the easier financial conditions that have basically been manufactured by this Federal Reserve helped boost a market that wasn't maybe in need of such a big boost?
Look, you know my view. We've been living in a world of liquidity dominance. It has been all about liquidity. That world was reinforced by a 50 basis points cut. Let's also remember that the market didn't expect a 50 basis point cut based on data. It expected it based on a reporting on the Thursday before the Fed board meeting. So there was no economic conditions that would justify 50 basis points, but there was a leak to a newspaper that moved market expectations. I worry that we continue to feed this monster of liquidity dominance. And at some point, we may regret it, either because inflation will not settle at 2% and or because financial instability will result from excessive risk-taking.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the fourth industrial revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.